Welcome to our kitchen. Today we prepare ancient Roman rabbit from the 8th book of De Re Cucinaria. We start with ingredients. We need rabbit, olive oil, garum, carenum, raisins, dates, asafoetida and long pepper. We parboil the rabbit legs for about 10 minutes. Then we cook them in a pan with olive oil for another 20 minutes. We used the legs of the rabbit, considered in the ancient sources a kind of hair, because from some Horace and Martial's poems it seemed refined to serve only these parts, instead of the whole hair. The recipe that we're preparing was written for hare, which is one of the favorite meats in De Re Cucinaria. There are 13 recipes only in the 8th book, but hare also appears in other passages. In Varro's De Re Rustica we read that the Romans bred 3 kinds of hares. The first kind is the Italic hare, which has a dark coat, white belly and long ears. The second instead is the Alpine hare, whose coat becomes white in winter, but it is seldom seen in Rome, according to Varro. The third kind is called cuniculum, a term that refers to the ability of this animal to dig burrows, which is the rabbit, and comes from Spain, according to Varro and other ancient authors. Varro believes that it is a good idea to breed all 3 types of hares. The Romans kept the hares in enclosures called leporaria, which derives from lepus, the Latin name for hare. Actually, as Varro writes, they bred different kinds of wild animals in the leporaria, such as deer. But the fact that these enclosures derive their name from the hare is a clear sign of how important hares were in Roman culture. One of the most appreciated characteristics of the hare is its fertility, because in a short time, from just a couple, the leporarium is filled with leverets. Meanwhile, we prepare the sauce. We grind the long pepper, grate a bit of asafoetida, and pound alpha date and few raisins. Then we dilute with olive oil, garum and carenum. Carenum is concentrated grape juice, boiled down until it reduces by 1/3 of its original volume. You can replace it with honey, raisin wine or meat, but only a little so that the sauce doesn't become too sweet. To prepare this recipe we have followed the previous methods for cooking hare, which are to parboil or roast it, then cook it in a pan with the addition of olive oil. When the hare is almost cooked, the author recommends adding the sauce and bringing it to a boil before serving it dusted with pepper. Pliny also mentions rabbits in his Naturalis Historia. They are so prolific, the author writes, that they even caused a famine in the Balearic Islands, prompting the inhabitants to ask the Emperor Augustus for military intervention to save the harvest from this plague. In a passage from Oppian's Spanish Wars, the soldiers eat venison and hare, lagon in Greek, probably referring to the local variety of hare, which is the rabbit. They don't feel well because they have been forced to eat something different from what they are used to. They eat venison and hare as well as wheat and barley, but they have no oil, wine, salt or vinegar. Rabbit is generally believed to be an animal from Spain, called by Catullus Cuniculosa Celtiberia, which means Celtiberia full of rabbits. However, the presence of rabbits in Italy is recorded by Posidonius between the 2nd and the 1st centuries before the Common Era. This author quoted in Athenaeus' De Hypnosophists writes that he saw many rabbits during his journey from Puteoli to Naples. A century earlier, Polybius tasted rabbit meat in Corsica and wrote that not only its shape but also its taste was very different from that of hare. We add the sauce and cook for a couple of minutes. Then we serve the rabbit, dusting with pepper. To know more about ancient food, check out our book, Ancient Roman Cooking, and our Patreon page, in which you find the translation of the first 9 books of De Re Culinaria, in addition to further articles and translations of historical sources. If you are interested in the transition between ancient and medieval cuisine, we recommend our book De Observatione Ciborum, Early Medieval Recipes at the Court of the Franks. To know more about late medieval cooking, check out Libro della Cucina Medieval Tuscan Recipes and Registrum Coquine, a medieval cookbook. If you want information on vegetables in historical cuisine, read Early Italian Recipes, Vegetables, Fruit, Herbs and Flowers. To support our work, you can also buy us a beer and purchase our merchandise. You find the links in the description below. This dish was amazing, with a spicy and slightly sweet sauce that enhanced the delicate flavor of the rabbit. This sauce is a bit unbalanced compared to others that we find in the Re Culinaria, since the author doesn't use acidifiers like vinegar or wine, but the result was incredible. You can add more or less pepper and asafoetida to taste, but a spicy sauce is perfect with rabbit. We paired it with spelt pulse and girts. You find the links to the recipes in the description below. If you're interested in ancient foods and flavors, subscribe our channel and consider supporting us on Patreon.